Hello, fellow diamond painting addicts, and welcome back to Diamond Painting Anonymous. I'm Daphne, and I am here for my last Advent whip and chat with you guys. This is the last section. Because it's at the top, I have turned it so that I can get to the canvas a little more easily. And let me use my tweezers here to pull this up. And we are on section 24, our last section of the Advent project. So now you can see kind of what it looks like. I know it's upside down. Let me zoom you guys in. And I've turned it upside down again just because that makes it a little bit easier for me to do the work because it's at the top and that way I'm not having to stretch all the way across the canvas. So there we go. So now we can see the other bird's little head. I can finish the beaks. So exciting. Ooh, let me start my timer because I forgot that. I can't believe I made it all the way through, you guys. I'm pretty stoked that I managed to do a video a day for 24 days. If you had asked me when I started if I thought I would make it all the way through, I mean, I would have said yes. I would have found some way to make it through. But I feel like I made it through even though I was sick. I still am sick. And I feel like I made some good quality content. It wasn't just me rambling every day. I did have things to say, even if I didn't necessarily have them planned out beforehand, like today. So I hope you enjoyed going on this little journey with me. I appreciate everyone who has liked, commented, shared, subscribed, because that helps me immensely, and I'm so appreciative. So thank you. You guys are going to be seeing this on Christmas Eve. I'm filming this the day before because I'm going to be busy on Christmas Eve because we always go over to, well, we don't always go over to my sister's house. We are going to my sister's house. I actually heard some people talking about this on the radio, and now I'm curious because this is the way that my family has always done it. And I'm putting all these in the wrong place. Oh my goodness, you guys. There we go. This is a C, not an X. So let me push that one over. Can I push that one down? Yes. That one just needs to come off. Whoa, that one flying. Let me see. I put the rest of them. Thank goodness I realized that before I got going too much. Whew, that would have been kind of crazy. Okay. So now that I have in my head that these are C's and not X's, let me continue. I heard people talking about this on the radio. And just one of those things that, your family does something and so it never occurs to you that other people do it differently. So in my family, for as long as I can remember, we have always had two get-togethers. Well, I guess one get-together. We've always opened presents twice. When I was younger, I mentioned before, my mother's parents lived across the street. My father's parents lived in another state, and so they always traveled in for the holidays. And they always stayed with my aunt, who also lived in the same city as my dad. We had another aunt who lived in the same state as my grandparents, so we didn't see her very often, or my dad's parents, except at Christmas was one of the only times we saw them. And everyone came to our house, aunts and uncles and grandparents, and we would open gifts on Christmas Eve from all of those people. So like on Christmas Eve, my brother and sister and I got to open presents from both sets of our grandparents, from our aunts and uncles, from our cousins. What we didn't open was anything from each other. So no sibling presents, no presents from our parents, no Santa gifts. None of those got opened on Christmas Eve. It was just family presents. But we always did it that way. And, I didn't think anything of it until I got older and got married. And then, in my head, we're just automatically going to my parents' house on Christmas Eve because then Christmas Day was always reserved for immediate family. So, once I had kids, we would go to my parents' house on Christmas Eve, and then we would, be at home with just us on Christmas Day. And, we might Christmas afternoon get together with my parents or something like that. But for the most part, Christmas Day was for your immediate family. But we always got to open presents on Christmas Eve because of that. And so I just never thought it was weird. And then I was listening to somebody talk on the radio, and she was just appalled because her daughter had come home and asked if they could open a gift on Christmas Eve because one of the daughter's friends did the same thing that my family did, where, aunts and uncles and kind of not immediate family members, extended family members all came over on Christmas Eve, and that's when you open those gifts. And the mom was just, "Oh my gosh, who opens presents on Christmas Eve? Never, never, never." And I thought, okay, I've opened presents on Christmas Eve for as long as I can remember. So that's what I'll be doing tomorrow is we will be going over to my sister's house and we will be opening gifts to each other. So like my sister, her boys, my brother and his wife, and us are all going to go over there and we'll all open gifts from each other. So like my kids will get gifts from their cousins and vice versa. And we'll open all of those tomorrow. And then on Christmas morning, it will just be my kids and my husband and I here. And we'll do our own Christmas Day thing where we open all of our gifts to each other. So, but I just like how do you do that? Like in my mind, I don't even know how the logistics work if you don't open stuff on Christmas Eve. Like, does everybody just get together on Christmas Day? And then if you do that, how do you decide who's like, does the hosting rotate? Does it always at somebody's house? Does everyone always have to travel except for one person? Because like when I got married, of course, then we have two sets of grandparents. And so it was like, okay, so, for Thanksgiving, for instance, one year we would go to Thanksgiving at my parents' house on Thanksgiving Day. And then the next year we would go to the other set of grandparents' house on Thanksgiving Day. And my parents, we would do on Friday, just to kind of make it even so that, everybody didn't always have to host and everybody didn't always have to travel and things like that. But because we celebrated in my family on Christmas Eve, that ended up never being an issue because we would go do my parents' stuff on Christmas Eve, have our Christmas morning with just immediate family, and then Christmas afternoon, during the afternoon of Christmas Day, we would go over to the other grandparents' house. So I always thought it worked out nicely that we did it that way because then it was less conflict. But admittedly, I have a pretty small family. My dad was one of three. My mom only had one sibling, and they lived out of state, so we rarely, if ever, saw them. Um, and my husband, all of his family is in Canada, basically, so we really don't see them very often unless we travel up there. None of them have ever traveled here to the States. And I mean, his parents are not in great health and couldn't travel even if they wanted to. So, um, so yeah, so we'll be going over to my sister's house for Christmas Eve, and then we'll be by ourselves here on Christmas Day. So I thought it worked out nicely. Okay, did I miss any other Doesn't look like it. Okay. Trying to do some of the more bigger sections here, the bigger color blocks, so that I can not miss as many of those kind of one-off ones. Although it's kind of exciting because now I'm getting down to the, okay, I'm done with this color part of my diamond painting. Okay, I'm done with this color. And I'm pretty stoked. I am going to finish this one. I finished my Paint with Diamonds project, I told you guys. I finished my special that I was working on, and I started yesterday the other full round that I want to finish. And then I'd like to do one more, which will probably end up being a special just because I don't think I have time to finish another full drill kit in the time I have left before the 31st. And I don't have to do another one. Like I said, it's just me wanting to. I made up that page in my diamond painting logbook. And so now I don't want to just throw it away. Like, I already made it up and I'm not going to use it next year. So I kind of want to just use it this year so then everything is done and used up. Which, you know, it's a piece of paper. It's not going to be the end of the world if I don't use it. But that's how my brain works. So I may pull out a special to do. Ooh, I know what I can do. I don't have to do a full drill canvas. I have a couple of journals sitting around that I have been meaning to do forever that I have not done. And there's 2 of them, which means I would need 2 pages. But I could just do one, and it would be quick enough that I would be able to get it finished. Because I'm not sure how long this other full drill is going to take me. At least a couple of days. But I don't want to just spend all my time on vacation diamond painting. I mean, I do, but I have other things that I need to get done as well. So like today I spent, well, I slept in for one thing, which I don't usually do. My husband ended up going into work. They're not really working. They're having like a company party / Christmas dinner thing. So, you know, he may have had to do a little bit of work this morning, but other than that, so he went ahead and went in. And because he was gone, I slept in. And but he is going to be off all next week. We were talking about that the other day, and he said, yeah, the entire crew has decided that they're not working between Christmas and New Year's. So he will be off all next week, which will be fun. And I am, so because he was gone today, I was able to get some things done that, I mean, I could have gotten them done while he's here. It's just easier when he's not. So I spent some time cleaning this morning, which needed to be done. I just hadn't felt up to it because I've been sick, so it had gotten kind of put off. So I did a bunch of cleaning today, which normally, you know, if everybody was coming to my house, everybody would be all hands on deck cleaning everything. But since we're going to my sister's, I don't have to do that. So I just spent some time cleaning and vacuuming. I vacuumed in here because the last 2 or 3 times I've done things, I have spilled drills everywhere. So I think I had picked most of them up just by kind of getting down and looking for them, but I'm also sure that I probably missed some. So I decided just to go ahead and vacuum in here, which means I had to pick up everything off the floor, which admittedly was easier than usual because I had changed out that bookcase for the shelves like I wanted. So now I have pretty much most of my diamond paintings up on a shelf. I have my Heaven and Earth, a TSA, my Diamond Painting Deutschland, and my DIY Moon are still in the floor of my closet because they're in round tubes, so they kind of fit better in the floor of the closet, so I just kind of left them in there, and I'll get around to moving them eventually. My goal is to do enough of my other diamond paintings to clear off room on the shelves so that I can fit those on there. So, because I've got big projects that I'm planning to do for next year. I was just looking on Instagram today, and somebody had, it was a hashtag for Big Sucker Canvas 2022 or something like that. So they're people who are planning on doing a very large canvas as part of their 2022 projects, which I have some pretty large ones, I think, that I'm planning to do next year. So we'll see if I manage to make it fit in that event, which I guess it doesn't really matter. I can just say that I'm doing it because I don't ever enter for the prizes or anything. So, like, if mine doesn't exactly fit and I'd be disqualified, I don't really care because I'm not doing it for the prizes anyway. So, but I have, let's see, make sure I'm doing the right number, right symbol here before I get myself all messed up again. I have been working on getting my diamond painting log set up for next year. So I was designing some of the sections and kind of printing them out. I wanted them to be on heavier paper than just regular paper, so I bought some heavier weight paper. So I was printing them out on that paper and kind of trying to get a feel for, how I want to use it, what sections I want in my log. My diamond painting logbook that I made for this year, I kind of just made, log pages where I kept track of the name of the kit, the size, the drills, was it poured glue, was it, is that all the O's? I think it is. Was it poured glue? How many colors? When did I order it? When did I receive it? When did I start it? When did I finish it? Keep track of my hours, all that good stuff. However, I didn't really add any sections that I've seen in other people's logbooks. Like, I know some people have sections for like what's in their stash. I know people have sections like at the beginning of the logbook about, where they keep track of their orders and stuff. When did they order something? When did they receive it? And then, there's a separate page later on for all the information about when it was started, when it was finished, and all that. So I have redesigned my kind of logbook pages themselves just to make them look a little bit prettier. And also, my printer that I hate, I discovered actually does duplex printing without me having to do anything. My old printer, it would duplex it, but I mean, basically you printed page 1 on everything and then you flipped all the pages around and printed on page 2. So it didn't really duplex. You just flip the paper over. So this one does it automatically. So I was doing that to get them to print double-sided. And then I printed out some pages for my stash so that I can kind of keep track of that. And I printed out some pages to keep track of my finishes. Now, I keep track of a lot of that currently on a spreadsheet, but I'm probably going to end up keeping it in both places next year, just because it's nice to have it in the logbook, to have kind of something in my hand that I can show, you guys and other people, here's what I've done so far this year. So, or to look back at it and go, oh, these are all the ones that I've done. Because, when you do a lot of diamond painting, sometimes you forget some of them. And you're like, oh, yeah, I did that one. Oh, yeah, I did that one. I was putting the special that I just finished away in my portfolio yesterday, and I was kind of flipping back through it. And I was like, oh, yeah, I forgot about this one. Oh, yeah, I forgot about this one. So I have a section for finishes. I have a section for my stash. And then I told you guys I'm a planner. I use planners a lot. And so I also tried my hand once upon a time at bullet journaling. I don't bullet journal anymore. For me, I mean, the whole thing is supposed to be about, kind of streamlining your life and making things easier for yourself. And all it did for me was make me more stressed because I would get frustrated that I couldn't make it as pretty as I wanted it to be because drawing is not my forte. And so I would just end up not using it because I got frustrated with it. So I just went back to my regular planner. I mean, I've used a planner, a daily planner, since I was in high school. I was one of those nerds that kept track of my homework assignments and things like that. So yeah, that's just always been something that I've done. And that has carried over into my adult life as well. So anyway, so I like having the logbook, kind of in my hands to be able to touch and feel what I've done and what I've accomplished. It's a tangible, I guess, item that lets me, look back at my accomplishments. So I spent some time doing that. And then the whole thing about bullet journals was because I added a couple of pages at the end. I have roughly 50 some paintings in my stash currently. It may be a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. I think it was like 56 the last time I actually counted. But I've done paintings since then and I've added paintings since then. So um anyway, bullet journals use trackers to kind of keep track of stuff. So I added a little tracker so that I could like fill in. It's like a little flow chart so I can fill in as I complete a diamond painting as just kind of a visual tracker of my progress. So I don't know if I'll stick with it or not, but it sounded like fun. So I stuck it in there. So we'll see. I am planning on kind of sharing with you guys what my diamond painting logbook ended up looking like this year, as well as what I plan for it to look like next year. But I'm curious, do you have a logbook? Do you keep track of it just, on your computer on a spreadsheet? Do you keep track of it just in the Gems Flow app? Do you not keep track of it at all? It wouldn't surprise me if there were people who just didn't keep track of it at all. One of my diamond painting friends was talking to someone else who diamond paints, and the new person was like, "Oh yeah, I've got 4 works in progress at the moment." And my friend was like, 4? And I thought to myself, I don't know why she's acting so surprised. She has 4 works in progress at the moment. So one of those, people start working on it and then are like, I'm ready to move on to something else. I'm getting bored with this one. Now, I personally don't do that. I think it would make me crazy if I tried, because I'm very much one of those people. I think that's why I like diamond painting, is I like kind of seeing, again, all of the order come out of the chaos. It looks very chaotic when you first start with all the drills kind of everywhere and everything. And then by the end of it, you have this lovely diamond painting. So I think that's why it appeals to me. But so I keep track of it. That's part of it for me too. That's part of the appeal for me, is tracking all the things. So what do you guys track? I've seen diamond painting logs, but I've never actually bought one. So I don't know what sections they have in them. I mean, I'm assuming, of course, there's the pages where you log what you're actually, working on and when you finish it and like that. I'm assuming there's a place for orders and, what's in your stash, that kind of thing. But other than that, what is there to track? I guess, other than when you start and finish and when you order and receive. Am I missing something? Are there other things to track? Do people track drills in their diamond painting log? See, I don't track my drills. I started to when I very first started diamond painting. I went out and found a chart of all the DMC codes and would keep track of, okay, I've got spares in square of this, spares in browns of this color. And I started keeping that on my computer. And this was before I had very many spares. And so they were all just kind of thrown in a photo box. And then as I started getting more and more, it was like, okay, this is getting too cumbersome to remember to go through and add all of these to my spreadsheet every time I had drills to add. And so I eventually stopped tracking them on my computer, and I don't even really track them at all. I have my boxes of spares, and I have bags ready to go for all the colors that are used in diamond painting, unless and until they change them, of course. And I just know that I have all of those ready. So if I need to, find a color or whatever, I go to my box and I either have it or I don't. But there's no reason for me to keep track of it in two different places anymore. So I don't know. Do people track their drills in their diamond painting logs? I don't know what else you would track. I mean, does anyone track like wax, pins, any of that kind of stuff? I can't imagine that anyone does, but what do I know? I just started doing this. I was actually thinking about that today because I haven't been doing this. I keep saying I haven't been doing this very long, but when I stop and think about it, I did my first diamond painting in July of 2020. So it has been a year and a half, essentially, since I started diamond painting. So I'm not a complete newbie, but I am very new at some things because I just am not as involved, I guess. I think I feel not as involved because I don't use Facebook a lot. And I mean, I'm on Facebook with my Facebook page, and I've joined a couple of groups to kind of, see what people post, but I'm on there maybe 5 minutes a day, if that, and usually just to post whatever I want to post, and then I'm moving on with my day. So sometimes I feel like I don't, know what's going on, or I'm not that in tune what's going on in the diamond painting community. And I don't feel that way about Instagram, but I spend more time on Instagram too, so my foot has fallen asleep, you guys. I think I put my brace on too tight today. So just trying to sit here and wiggle my toes and keep my foot from getting pins and needles while I'm sitting here doing this diamond painting. Isn't that crazy? I like this little swirly thing happening here. That's cute. I think this section has almost every single color in it. Kind of funny that this ended up being the last section, huh? So I have a couple of L's. And I did miss one H, but I'm going to do the M's so I can finish up the M's, because they were kind of the one that I had the most of, the dark blue. That's kind of this in-between color for everything. So anyway, I will be sharing how I'm doing, like I said, my logbook, how I did it for this year and how I'm going to change it up for next year. I have 2 or 3 projects that I plan to do. One is going to actually end up being kind of a multi-year project. And then I have a big project that I want to do with several different canvases and companies. and there are certain things I want to do that I've not done in diamond painting before. For instance, I've never ordered a custom before, so I want to order a custom just so I can kind of see what that process is like. I still need to order my drills for whichever of my heaven and earth designs I decide that I'm going to do first. I still haven't decided which one that is. I think I'll figure it out once I unbox them. So that's one of my goals too, is I'm going to try and slash my stash a bit to either, go through, and a couple of my projects are aimed at doing just that, pulling kind of kits out of my stash for various purposes and projects, and getting those done and out of my stash. I still need to figure out what to do with my completed diamond paintings. I mean, the smaller ones, I'm fine with just kind of leaving them in my portfolios. Even I have a small kind of legal sized portfolio, which is about half full, and it's getting really heavy, so I'm probably going to have to order another one of those at some point this year. And then I have my two kind of in between, like 40 by 50, 50 by 60 size portfolios downstairs. I bought two of those, and one is not even half full, so I'm good with those. But then I have this whole pile of, large paintings that I don't know what to do with. I mean, I had fun doing them, but I don't intend to hang them up in my home or anything like that. And I do way too many of them anyway. I mean, literally, I would have a room where it was just nothing but wall-to-wall diamond paintings if I did that. I mean, I could, I suppose, at some point, once we move, and just decide, okay, we don't need to paint this room, Willie. It's just going to be wall-to-wall diamond painting canvases, which would be fun, but just is not what I want to do, at least at this point. So right now they're all sitting downstairs, kind of laying on our table in this giant, TV-sized portfolio carrying case, which is where I have Lenore and the Good Witch and my Grandiose Grease and the Peacock and whatever other big ones that my Seahorse. There's several down there that I have finished that I'm not going to be hanging them anywhere. So they've kind of gone to that portfolio by default, just to kind of get them out of the way. But they're just kind of taking up space. So I need to figure out what to do with them, I guess. Someone told me I should sell them on Etsy, but the people I see buying on Etsy are buying the ones that are not finished, not ones that are completed. And plus, then once it's completed, how do you ship it? Do you roll it up? What if drills fall off? Do you seal it so the drills don't fall off? Then you can't really roll it up. And with shipping the way it is, I mean, I wouldn't frame it and then ship it, because that would be horrendously expensive. I can't imagine anybody wanting to pay that kind of cost. So, what do you do with it? I mean, I could gift it on to someone. I would have no problem doing that, but I don't want to give someone a gift and then have them be like, oh yeah, great, thanks. And then it just ends up in the trash or whatever. So, I don't know. Still working on that one. Anyway, so I have lots of projects to try and kind of slash my stash and get it down to a little bit more manageable level. I say manageable level. I mean, I'm managing it. It's not like I think it's out of control. It's just, well, it's a little out of control. I just need to be a little bit more selective about what diamond paintings I get. I think this year, because of the channel, me starting the channel and everything, I kind of use that as an excuse to, oh, well, it's okay if I buy it. I'll show it on the channel at some point. And then, things have kind of sat here for a year or more and still haven't made an appearance. And it's like, okay, how long do I justify things with that excuse? Because after I sat down and figured out how much I had spent this year, it was kind of an eye opener. And like I said, I am going to have a budget for next year. So that's one of the things that I want to talk about once 2022 is here, that, kind of here's what I spent last year and here's my plan to avoid spending that much this year. Now, I can look at it as, well, one, my husband didn't care. And we had the money. Like I said, nobody went without anything because I bought diamond paintings. But I spent a ridiculous amount. And it wasn't just diamond paintings, of course. It was, the storage and the pins and the tips and the wax and, anything that came along that I was like, ooh, I should try this. And, used as an excuse, oh, well, I'll put it on the channel so it'll all be good. No. So I need to kind of curtail that. So hopefully now that I have enough pens, enough wax, I've kind of established, how I do things. I bought my drafting table where I do most of my work, kind of all the big expenses of starting a hobby. I feel like I've done that. And so now I can settle in and just focus on, okay, the diamond painting. What diamond paintings do I absolutely want/love and want to work on? Which ones did I just buy because, I just felt like buying a diamond painting? Because I have a feeling that some of the diamond paintings in my stash are probably going to end up being passed on, either as prizes if I do any more giveaways, or, to somebody else, just because I'm never going to do this painting. I don't even know why I bought it. Because, you buy a painting and you think, oh, I'm gonna do this one. And you get it, and then, you go through your stash and you're like, I just don't really want to do this one. I'll just pass it on. Like, for instance, for me, I mean, I have a lot of smaller paintings that I pass along in my random acts of kindness that, I think are cute, but I just don't have time to do them or whatever. So those get passed along. But I also have some kind of bigger ones. Like I have 2 Chuck Pinsons. One of them I am absolutely positively going to do for the Chuck Along this year because I love the painting. And if it turns out the way I'm hoping, I probably will frame that one and hang it up. The other one I bought because I wanted to have a Chuck Pinson, and I was literally looking for a Chuck Pinson. And I happened to find that one. I'm not a big landscape person. I'm not a big, just kind of outdoor scene person to begin with. And so finding something of his that I thought would be something I wanted to do was kind of a challenge. And I finally found one that I was like, okay. It wasn't even that I liked it. It was like, I think I dislike this one the least. I went through a lot of them and I was like, okay, definitely don't want that one. Definitely don't want that one. Well, this one's okay. And so I ended up buying it. But, and it's not that there's anything wrong with the painting. It's just not my thing. And the other one I like much, much more. I didn't even realize it was a Chuck Pinson until after I bought it. But anyway, so that one is going to get done. The other one is probably going to get passed on to someone who will enjoy it much more than I will. I mean, I would probably enjoy diamond painting it, but I'm not going to do anything with it after that. So, okay, you guys, I think that is the end. That is the end of the diamond painting project. So, let me zoom you guys out. Let me zoom you out enough that you can see the whole thing, I think. Turn it around. Nope, you still can't see all of that. Okay. Now you can see the whole thing. So there you go, guys. There is, I don't even remember the name of this canvas, but I will put a link in the description below. I think it was called Abstract Birds. I think I called it Colorful Birds, but I just love all the colors in this. And that's why I thought it would be good for this Advent project, because it would be nice and colorful and it would kind of keep you guessing, and kind of the design of it would keep you guessing as well. So I had so much fun doing this, you guys. I learned a lot, and I'm so glad that you stuck with me through the end of this project. Before you leave today, I want to wish you and yours a very merry holiday season, however you choose to celebrate. I hope 2022 finds you all happy, healthy, and well. And again, thank you so much for joining me on this Advent journey. Before you leave, guys, don't forget to do all the things. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification icon so that you can be informed of future uploads. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching.